Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to the adventure series. So, Dinosaurs episode 3, and here we go with Jurassic Park 3. Now, first to say right off the hop, I know a lot of people don't, I know a lot of people dislike it, but I love Jurassic Park 3. It's awesome, it's one of my favorites. And, I remember I was really young when this movie came out, and here's the first thing is, it's the scariest. I mean, The Lost World has some spooky moments, but it's definitely the scariest of the Jurassic Park movies. They played the most horror into this movie. Like, when I was a kid, at a very young age, like pre-elementary school, I was watching Jurassic Park and The Lost World Jurassic Park. And they had some scenes, and both of them frightened me out, like the kitchen scene in the first Jurassic Park and several of the moments I named off in the last review for The Lost World creeped me out when I was a kid. But the only movie that actually scared me in the Jurassic Park series when I was a kid was Jurassic Park 3. There was just something super eerie about that movie, like just something about like the people felt extra vulnerable, because in the other one there's like this big huge crew of people and there's all these vehicles and stuff, but this one was really just these few people with nothing, with these creatures all around them. And the Spinosaurus, super cool dinosaur. Love the Spinosaurus. And I know it's not completely accurate to the actual dinosaur, but in real life the dinosaur was a super cool dinosaur, and they did a really good job on the JP3 Spinosaurus, and it was designed just, even though it's a bit fictionized, it's still designed just perfectly cool to be this menacing, scary machine. And I like the T-Rex a little bit. Like, I like the T-Rex better. I like the T-Rex a little bit better. And, I'm not all for the death of the T-Rex in the third one, which did happen, but I just am saying I have no beef with the Spinosaurus. I love the Spinosaurus. I think it's a super cool dinosaur. And, and that's another thing is there is one flaw I will bring out in the Jurassic Park 3, and it's to do with the T-Rex, actually. And, I don't mind, like, the T-Rex fight with the Spinosaurus was cool. It was really entertaining, but it could have been longer. It should have been just a little bit longer. Not even that much longer, but just it could have been just a little bit longer, and it would have been better. And also, the movie, the one flaw, as much as the Spinosaurus is a really cool dinosaur, one of the flaws is that it could have used a bit of T-Rex. Like, the story could have used T-Rex in it. Like, I think if they had, we had the one moment where you see its face, and then we got the fight, and then it's done. But I think just if there was just one other scene in the movie that involved a T-Rex, even if it wasn't major, someone comes around a corner, they're running away from something else, the raptors or whatever, and they just see a T-Rex there, and they freeze and hide behind a tree. There's a scene like that, similar with a raptor, actually, but a scene like that with a T-Rex would be good. Even just hearing the roar in the background again, and even if it doesn't come out, but just hearing it there again, or even just seeing the rippling on the water again, like knowing that it's not the Spinosaurus, that this particular footprint is the T-Rex, so they, hide, or I don't know, it could have used just a little bit. Like, I can fully understand that they wanted to make the Spinosaurus the star of this one, but it just could have used a little bit more Tyrannosaurus, in my opinion. But aside that, it still is a really good movie. I don't know why a lot of people disliked it. I mean, I like how it's shorter than the other movies, actually. Like, I like how it's not as long, and it's condensed, it resolves easy, and in the time that you're there, you're never not entertained. It's always intense. It's definitely always an intense movie. And also, where people had issues too, again, I said in the last review, saying that, that they did not want to see people lost on Isla Sorna anymore. They wanted to see the dinosaurs elsewhere. I don't really understand that. Like that's why when I review Jurassic World, I'll go more into depth with that as well. But, when I envisioned, because I've been following the Jurassic Park story from the very beginning, so Even long before Jurassic World came out, after Jurassic Park 3, I was all, following the little updates on what they thought they could do in the future of the franchise, or if there was going to be anything, and still always collecting the toys that they remanufactured and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know why. I mean, I think they kind of gave into, well, I mean, you can't blame them, but they gave into what people were shouting about on the internet a lot, about wanting to see the dinosaurs in other places. But I don't know. To me, they shouldn't have really gone back to Nublar. To me, it would the story, the first one should have been left on Nublar, and the rest of it continued on Sorna. To me, Isla Sorna is the main focal point of what the story should have been. And it should have continued on to that, and then maybe even in like the 5th Jurassic Park movie, some subtle changes or some ideas or something like that being thrown about, or somebody comes upon, Isla Nublar, or it's just sort of like this, nobody knows for sure if the story is true, but it's like this shut down amusement park that's like restricted by the government now or something, and then someone goes in and tries to do something. I don't know, it should have been something more like that, in my opinion. Like, I didn't get sick of Isla Sorna, and I didn't get sick of people being lost in the jungle, fending with dinosaurs. Like, that just doesn't get old to me. And there's so much more, and they did a lot, but there's so much more cool, interesting, and intriguing scenes that you could make on Sorna, especially in real life, like in real backgrounds, like these movies were, and even real sets. Like in the 3rd one, there were some sets, but they were really, really well done sets. And so some stuff like that, continuing the series would have just, I don't know, to me it would have just made a bit more sense to go that direction. That's just my take on the whole thing anyway, but it is what it is. Anyway, but for Jurassic Park 3, yeah, and I'll tell you a story. And my mom even agreed when, like, this was years back when the movie came out, but because I had seen all of the other Jurassic Park movies, and I remember my brother and his friend were going to. It was either my brother and his friend, or my brother and my cousin, or something like that, were going to see Jurassic Park 3, and I was like, oh, can I come? And I remember it was the only time that my mom was unsure about. I thought it was weird. I was like, what the hell? Like, why is my mom's like normally stoked to show me Jurassic Park? Why is she not wanting me to go to this one? And she said that she thought the movie was too, like, that it might be too scary for me. And so that, it pissed me off that I couldn't go to the theater to see it, but it also intrigued me because the whole time she was like, yeah, like, but we'll watch it, like, when it comes out on, because this was back when VHS was still there, when it comes out on tape on VHS, we'll get it and we'll just watch it at home and see if you can watch it and whatever. And so in the time waiting for that to happen, which that's how I seen it, was after when that happened, but I was so intrigued by the movie. I mean, it could have added its own nostalgia on the movie, because of that, because in the meantime I was so intrigued. I was like, holy shit, like, there's this Jurassic Park movie. They've seen all the Jurassic Park movies, and this one is supposedly, and there's some creepy moments in all of them, and this one is supposedly too scary that people think I might not be able to handle it. Like, wow, I can't wait to see this now, kind of a thing, right? And, and I really liked it when I was a kid. I didn't even realize that it was not that liked of a movie by the older people, and that I didn't really clue into that when I was a kid. But then as I grew up, and especially once I started getting involved in, like, the online, like, watching the online movie reviews and movie discussions and stuff like that, I realized that the vast consensus of people really dislike this movie, and I really don't understand that. I really do not understand. And to me, so for grading, I give Jurassic Park 3 an A+. This is like one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Actually, there's a top 20 favorite movies of all time list on YouTube, and those are all A+ movies. So any movie that was involved in that list is an A+. And the whole entire Jurassic Park franchise was involved in that. So therefore they are A+. But I do cheat a bit, because technically you should say that the whole series and even the Jurassic World movies should be that too, if it's the whole franchise. And when I say my favorite movies of all time, I include the whole franchise of Jurassic Park. But I'm going to cheat a little bit, because I have some things to nitpick about the Jurassic World movies. I do like them. I love them, actually, and there's some awesome things about them. But I do have some things to nitpick about them. And they just might be a little bit lower than an A+. Who knows? Maybe not, but who knows? So just forewarning on that and clearing that up. But yeah, Jurassic Park 3. Love it, hate it, think it's alright. I love the damn movie. And it's definitely... And then another fun fact, too. If I'm going to watch a Jurassic Park movie, like not reviewing the whole sequence or not watching them all or whatever, if I'm just going to sit down and watch a Jurassic Park movie, it's almost always Jurassic Park 3. And it doesn't mean it's my favorite Jurassic Park movie. I'd still say Jurassic Park is my favorite. And, the second one might even inch up just a little bit, not much, but a little bit higher than Jurassic Park 3. But because of the length of it and because of the condensity as well as the perfect resolve and just the action-packed intensity in the meantime and the cool dinosaurs, I will, if I'm just going to kill some time and watch a Jurassic Park movie, I'll put on Jurassic Park 3. So it's an A+ for that movie. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you again in the next adventure series.